Welcome to the podcast, Alone in My Thoughts, as we explore the unscripted mind. My name is Angel, and if you're listening, I just want to say go ahead and click that subscribe button and stay up to date with what is going on in my head. This is just where I come, and I just want to brain dump. Just kind of brain dump just so many things, darling. And today I want to talk about getting over a person. And I want to say that oftentimes when we are maybe going through a heartache or something like that, we tend to want to keep reaching out to the person. I know we have all had those drunk texts where you're drinking, you go out, you're trying to get over a situation, you just broke up, or you just, disconnected, lost a connection with someone that you really, had deep feelings for. And so you go out, you drink, and then you start just texting all kind of stuff to that person. The reason why I was thinking about this is because just recently, as a matter of fact, probably about, 6 months ago, I ended a situation with someone. And this person was someone I had developed some deep feelings with, and I was really seeing myself with that person, growing with that person. He literally was a real, I'm going to say everything that I was looking for, but not really. Because if he was everything I was looking for, then he would no doubt be with me. So maybe he wasn't everything, but he had a lot of the qualities, darling, that I admired. The intelligence, the passion, the driven responsibility. He was a grown-ass man. You know what I'm saying? He had his own shit, took care of his own self, and took care of his responsibilities. And he wasn't driven by the physicality either. So it was like a lot of things. He was getting his life together, and I was too, and I am too, actually. But in that situation, when it ended, I had realized things about myself. I was like, you know what? There was aspects of me in that time that wasn't as healed as I thought. And so what that situation actually helped me shed a light and actually helped me heal a little bit more, because I have been on this healing journey for quite some time now. It's probably been about 4 to 5 years. I had the breakthrough where you go into that little small cocoon and you kind of start losing friends and you start kind of losing yourself, or so it seems, only to realize that you were really actually finding yourself and just healing from all kind of past traumas, past mental, emotional traumas. And so I met him at a time where I'm building myself back up. I was getting this was actually last year. I got my personal training certification, my group fitness certification, my yoga certification, a couple other certifications I was obtaining. And at that time, he was getting his degree. And so that was what drove me to him. But then yet we were friends before we were kind of had an intimate interest in each other. And so feelings were really deep because he was somebody I was cool with from the past originally. But as time went on, and I was kind of in those old feelings creep in to where it's growing up, I was really immature when it came to relationships. I really didn't know how to handle them or deal with them, especially being a young girl who grew up in a single parent household. And I knew who my father is, but I know who my father is, but he wasn't an active participant in my upbringing. He was in another state and he kind of just, lived his life and we lived ours type deal. But we knew him, he talked to him from time to time. So I really didn't get that strong connection on how to deal with men, and didn't really get taught. And it's nobody's fault. It's just life. And so life taught me, having children. So life definitely taught me some harsh ass lessons. I tell you that, man. And I learned some harsh ass lessons, but I'm grateful for the lessons I've learned, and I'm grateful for my kids. I got my children and stuff. But anyway, so a lot of issues that I thought I had healed from that time till now wasn't. And so dealing with him, some insecurities still kind of sprouted up from here to there. And I had realized maybe I thought I loved myself, but maybe I truly didn't fully love myself. And so he's the one who wanted space. He was like, I need some space. You know what I'm saying? He was going through his own stuff, his, like, I guess some family stuff and then health stuff. And, I'm in health and wellness, and he was kind of rejected. I was like, I can help you, darling. I can help you be well. I can help you be better. Let me guide you. But he didn't want that from me. And he didn't want my healing. And that hurt more than anything. I was like, what? I was like, just let me be your guide, darling. Shoot, that is what I'm here for. Let me do what I do best, and that is to help people heal. And he didn't want it. He rejected it. And he was like, I need my space. And I was like, And he was like, what you mean, What you mean, no? And I was like, no, like, you ain't about to just get rid of me that easy. But then eventually I thought about it. And then after the end of the conversation, I was like, you know what? I ain't about to, like, sit here and hold on to a motherfucker that don't want to be held on to, or somebody who don't want to be kept. Okay? So I just let it go. I was like, all right, if that's the case, deuces, do you. But it didn't mean that it didn't hurt. I just accepted it, and I let it go, because that's what you're supposed to do. You ain't supposed to sit here and hold on to nobody, and you damn sure don't get mad at someone for not wanting you or wanting their space from you. You just gotta be like, well, maybe it's the universe's way of telling me that he was someone that was there to teach me a certain lesson, maybe about myself, and vice versa. And so therefore our story, that chapter, has ended. And it hurt. It hurt because I didn't want the chapter to end. I did not want it to end. I wanted it to continue on. I wanted the saga to continue. But he ended it abruptly, and to my surprise. And so it hurt. It hurt really bad. And so there was times where I was like, I have to delete this dude's, like, number. I got to delete him out of my text chain or whatever. So I did. Shoot, you know how much times I deleted his information out of my phone? And yet and still, he's still in there, because we always end up talking again. Because, like, over time, because I didn't flip out, I didn't get angry, I didn't cuss him out, I didn't say bad things. Okay, I did delete him off my Facebook, though. But that's because I don't need to see him, and I don't want to think, because you know how sometimes it is, like, you get into that mindset of, okay, at least it's for me, like, this is how I heal. Okay, so if I know that somebody still has access to me in my life, I might do things, or I might not post certain things, because I know that person can potentially see it. So it got to a point where I was like, there's no need. If he wants space from me, then he don't need to be on anything of my stuff. So I deleted him from my social media. I was like, it's no hard feelings, but it's just for my own healing. Like, I can delete him. I don't really want to accidentally run across his page, and I just want to totally forget that he, exists. Because I have to. It's a must. It's necessary in order for me to heal that hurt, that pain that I had felt, with that loss of that connection. And so, yeah, and I deleted his number, his text thread, and all of that. And I was just like, it's time to move on. And so I was like, I still am doing me. I still got a lot of things that I'm doing, and that was important, and that's what I was grateful for. I was like, I am grateful that I have a focus, that can't nobody stop me from doing what I've already been doing, because at the end of the day, I'm still going to do what I need to do, because I got kids, and I got goals, and I have vision, and I have things that I am working on and have been working on before I even met him. So therefore, one monkey don't stop my show, darling. And so I went through this process of that, when that ego sets in and you start thinking, okay, at least for me, I can't even say that it's for other people, but for me, it was kind of like, was I not good enough? Was I not pretty enough? Was I not this enough? Just kind of thinking of me just not feeling like I wasn't enough. Like, why would somebody just want to end it with me? And then I started thinking, well, maybe I was just too much. Maybe I was just too much, and he couldn't handle all this woman. You know what I'm saying? All this goddess that I am. You know what I'm saying? And so, anything to make me feel better. Sometimes you got to tell yourself any and everything to help a situation move on so that you can get over it. It went so far to, I was like, I'm going to envision this guy. I was like, I'm going to envision him living his best life. I am going to envision him living his best life with somebody else. Because if I can envision him living his best life with somebody else, then I can move on. Because I no longer see him in my vision. So that way, if I do bump into him and he's doing really well and he has somebody else and they're doing really well, I have already accepted it and I have already moved on from it. And therefore, the only thing I can say is congratulations and you have a wonderful life. And just keep it moving, because at the end of the day, while I am envisioning him living his best life, I am living my best life in the process. But it's kind of like going through those emotions. Like sometimes you got to kill a situation and you go through the emotions without really going through the reality. Like even if it's not in your face, even if it's, you just create it in your imagination. You create a situation in your imagination so that you can make it go. You don't have to see it. It don't have to be reality. I've created it because apparently I created what I wanted from him in my imagination. So therefore, let me just create a whole new vision. So that way I can move on and I no longer see him as a part of me. Now I have attached him to somebody else. So therefore it makes it easy. And one thing I think really that made it easy for me to really kind of get over him, and something that I've learned from my past that I didn't do well on, because, just growing up, like I said, a young, naive girl, as I got older and wiser and in my awakening, I don't, like I said, as far as sex, I'm very sapio. If you saw my other video, my other podcast, I am sapio. I'm driven by intelligence, and it takes a lot more for me to do that. And plus, I have put so much more value and worth into myself that me and him never had physical contact in terms of sexual. We never had sex. We never had sexual contact like that. I mean, we were intimate in terms of like we would, kiss and, cuddle and things like that, and have great conversations and hang out and things like that. But it was never a sexual relationship. And then that's when it hit me. Like, wow, you know what? That's the lesson I had to learn. Had to learn that when you don't, like, you have to, and that's what my mom used to try to instill in me, and I never listened. I didn't listen to my mom when she tried to give me the advice, you know what I'm saying? The mom advice back then. But she always told me, she said, you have to go through a season. You have to go through seasons with a person to really fully know that person. So therefore, you have to go through it. Like, you have to go through winter, summer, fall, spring with this person. And I know I didn't say that in order, but whatever. Y'all know what I mean. But you have to go through, you got to give this person time. You got to give this person time. You got to give this situation time in order to truly see what it is and if it's something that's going to be lasting. And I am so grateful that I understand that now, because I gave it time. Like, we were talking, not even dating, like maybe just kind of, we were just in this connection, this weird, I don't even know what it was, you know what I'm saying, because there was no commitment, and that was my fault, but it helped me, at the end of the day. I knew that neither one of us was really ready to set a commitment, but I was willing to wait, you know what I'm saying. I was patient in it because I was still benefiting from it in the time, just hanging out with him. And while I was getting my stuff together, doing my Zumba classes, my fitness classes, getting all my certifications, and he was working, getting his stuff together, and we kind of just had this mutual agreement, like, hey, we like each other, we're cool, we're gonna hang out, and then when time progresses, we're going to take it a step further once it gets to this point. But of course, once it got to that point is when he was like, nah. But it was 9 months. We were at 9 months, and there was probably some red flags within that time. Plenty of red flags within that time. But like I said, one thing I'm grateful for is that I never slept with him. I never had sex with him. I never gave him my energy. Because then it probably would have, and not probably, it would have probably been a lot worse in terms of healing and getting over him if I had sex with him. And dealing with a situation with him, with somebody like that, and somebody who I had really had a passion for, like, because I wanted to, like, I wanted to fuck the shit out of it. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like, I wanted to fuck the shit out of his ass. Like, I still have impure thoughts to this day. Like, because at the end of the day, if you fall for somebody and you love someone, then you don't lose that, because it wasn't ever real. And that's why I said, to this day, even after deleting his number, text message, text thread, deleting him off my Facebook, my social media, and trying to erase him from my life, yet and still, his number is in my phone, and somehow we text each other still. But it's just because now I've gotten to a point where it's like, okay, I made peace with it, and I'm cool with just being his friend, because that's all we were always just friends. Like, we were never anything more. It was just, we released each other from the intimate aspect. But at the end of the day, we were always friends, so we always had that foundation of, I'm always cool with you at the end of the day. But I still be having my impure thoughts about him from time to time. But I'm slowly releasing that as well. But the reason why I made this video, like I said, all of that to say, when you get that urge to text somebody, and then and the reason why is because, like, I have like these sexual fantasies about him, because he was the last guy, like I said, that I was interested in, and I'm still interested. Because he's still him. I like him for him and who he is, and that's why I fell for him in the first place, because of who he is as a person, not necessarily what he has, but I just like him. And so sometimes, like, I would like having these fantasies about him, like, and I was like, damn, like, I want this dude, like, shit. And I so desperately wanted to like text this dirty sapio shit, you know what I'm saying? You gotta be a sapio to understand. I wanted to text him like this dirty picture that kind of was like talking about like sacred juices, and but I'm gonna talk about it in a video, so make sure y'all stay tuned, because I got some information that will knock your socks off, darling. But I wanted to send him this information, and I found the picture, the thing I was looking for that I was gonna send, and as soon as I was about to send it, something told me, no, do not send this, because at the end of the day, I could be only setting myself up for hurt or failure in that. I was, let me not send him anything dirty or anything that's going to strike his mind that is perceived sexually, because at the end of the day, like, me and him haven't even really had a real conversation in terms of, I don't know if he's seeing somebody, you know what I'm saying? Like, he could easily be seeing somebody laying up with her right now, and I'm sending him dirty stuff, and for him to give him fuel for her, darling, that's not what I'm going to do. So I just saved it, and I'm saving it for you all. If you're listening, whoever's listening, there will be a podcast up about some sacred sexual secretions that are healing to the body. So make sure that you stay tuned for that. So yes, I decided to save it for you. Decided to save it for my podcast, the information, and channel it through that way, because that is more beneficial to me. It would not be beneficial if I had sent it to him, because I am just giving away energy to someone who doesn't even value my own. And that's another thing that I'm seeing in this time, as I'm still kind of getting over this person, getting him out of my heart. Because I'm not really, I'm not the type of person like, I get up under somebody else. Like, I tried. I tried to move on, but it was like, nah, like, I can't lie to myself. And so it's just going to take time. But at the end of the day, I'm not hurting. I ain't sad. And I'm damn sure living my best life ever. Doing my Zumba, doing my fitness. And I started getting clients now from a personal training. And then, so I feel really good. I'm feeling really good. And I'm having the best life ever, because I did not take a situation and make it negative and cause fuel. Did not put fuel on the negativity or the hurt or the pain. Instead, I transmuted the pain and the hurt, and I transmuted that energy into my own happiness and my own healing. So now I am much more confident. I know much more of my worth, and I thought I did then. I thought I was confident, knew my worth then, but there were still aspects I needed to heal from. And now I really every second, with every move I make, I just know who I am more and more. I know my worth more and more, and I love myself more and more. And I couldn't ask for a better life, a better perspective, a better vision, and I couldn't ask for a better journey, because I know the universe got my back, darling. And that's what happens when you are connected, you are in alignment, and you do what you need to do on your path and on your journey. You don't deviate from it. Never deviate from yourself. Never stop loving yourself, and always be true to you. True to your damn self. And that's why I always say, I am my own best friend. If nobody's listening, hell, I'm listening. And that's why I'm all alone in my thoughts. And this is the Unscripted Mind of Angel.